Oh, hey. Hi, guys. How is everybody? Don't feel like you have to have your cameras on if you want to. That's awesome. Love to see you guys. We're going to be somewhat interactive today. So while we're allowing people to slowly get into the room here, I'm really curious in the chat. And I'm not going to be paying a whole lot of attention to the chat while we're doing this presentation. However, this transcript will be saved. The video is going to be saved. You're going to have access to all of this. Everything we go over, everything that I mention, it's all going to be saved in a special place just for you guys. So just know that as we go. But I want to know in the chat, where are you with your AI? What are you using right now? And then I'm going to have a follow up with that. And nothing is a perfectly good answer as well. I want to get a pulse for where people are at with AI, what you're using, what you're not, and then we'll get into maybe some of what are the questions you have. So hit that up in the chat. What are you using right now with AI? And like I said, nothing is an acceptable answer as well. Type it in the chat. It's good to see some familiar faces rolling in. We're gonna get started like probably 12:05. I want people to get enough time to come in here. This is all going to be recorded. You will get access to the recording. You'll get access to the slides. You'll get access to further trainings. Again, this is all free. There's no pitch. There's no sales. It's none of that. It's 60 minutes scheduled. My guess is we're going to go over because we're going to spend about 35, maybe 40 minutes of me chatting and talking and asking you guys some questions. And then I'm just going to hand it over to you guys and I'm going to open up my screen. I'll show you what I'm doing, the different projects, some workflows, things of that nature. So chat, let me see. Let me check it. Like I said, I'm not going to pay a whole lot of attention to the chat right now. In moving forward, if there's somebody that finds enough value in here, they want to come back and they want to monitor the chat, then we can work something out there. But for right now, looks like Renee's using ChatGPT, Canva, and just bought HeyGen. Very interesting, Renee. We may touch on that a little bit. And if you have some questions on that, there's somebody named Anik Singal, AnikSingal. I would highly, highly, highly recommend following him. He is the voice and AI clone master. I had the opportunity to meet him in October. He's absolutely brilliant with what he's doing. I was actually on a webinar with him maybe 2 weeks ago, and there were over 2,500 people on that webinar. Unbelievable. But anyways, follow him. Talk about HeyGen. Yeah, here, I'll type in the chat for you guys. It's Anik. Oops. All right. So we're going to get started here in a minute or two. I'm curious to know where you are with AI. What are you using right now? And then if you want to elaborate a little bit, maybe what are you using it for? Renee had shared she's using ChatGPT, Canva, and just signed up for well, we'll talk. I'll let Renee talk about that in a little bit. But it's a video clone. And some of them are absolutely incredible. They can also be an absolute disaster if you don't know what you're doing with them. Some of what I'm going to share with you today is going to open up that door for you to make sure that you are doing it the right way, right? It's kind of like listing houses. You can go get a listing. There's really a right way and kind of a wrong way about going about doing that. I think we would all agree. There's some pros and cons. Anyways, all right, cool. Stephanie's using Lovable. I'm curious to know what you'd be using it for. Building something in there.
Yes.
I know with our brokerage, there's a good push with Lovable. Lovable is a great tool. We're not going to get too far into the. We'll get into it a little bit. We'll get into it a little bit because there is something that I want to touch on that I think is important. Okay, we're going to get started at the top of the hour. Feel free to have your cameras on, not have your cameras on. Please keep your microphones muted. There will be some time to unmute yourself. I'll say you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have questions. There is a raise your hand box down below. I'm not going to be paying a whole lot of attention to that for right now. I'm also not going to be paying a whole lot of attention to the chat because I want to stay very focused on covering as much as I can in a very short amount of time. You know, as I was putting this together, it was like, even this morning reviewing the slides, I was like, oh, well, we could go here, we could go here, we could go here. And it's like, it's going to just throw everything off if we don't do that. as I had mentioned before, and if you're just coming on, all of this is going to be saved. You're going to get access to a Google document just shared with you guys. It's going to have the slides. It's going to have the audio presentation, the video. It will have all of the prompts that we're giving you. It's going to have the custom GPTs. It's going to have this transcript. It'll have the Zoom transcript. It'll have the chat transcript. It's going to have everything that you guys need. And again, this is totally free. There's no pitch. There's no sales. We're going to go probably 60 minutes it's scheduled for. Good chance we'll go over that because I know you're all going to have a lot of questions and I want to dig deep into this stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. It's 5 after the hour here, and I think whoever's going to be here should be here by now. So just real briefly, my name's Jeff Rubenstein. I'm a realtor. I've been with eXp Realty since 2018. I got started in 2004. My business now and has been for a while is short sales, REO properties, distressed stuff, basically the stuff nobody else wants to touch. And the reason I bring that up is, as a lot of us may know, foreclosures are starting to tick up. We're not going to see what we saw in 2008. Well, if our crystal balls are aligned, probably not what we saw. Those numbers were exorbitant. But what I've done in my business now is put together some frameworks, some systems, some tools, and some things that I've done as far as AI generation, AI chatbots, all of these things combined together that allow me to actually go get more listings and to go do more volume just by myself. It's just me. Now I am working on some additional human leverage, but what I've been able to leverage with AI has completely transformed my business. And we're talking just since April of last year. Now in October, I went to a conference. It used to be Video Marketing World. It's now called AI Marketing World. I have two friends that own that conference. Some of you may have heard of ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson's funnel builder. His name is Steven Larson. He's also an owner of that company, as well as Marley Jacks, Austin Armstrong, Scott Simpson. Anyways, I went to this conference. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I wanted to see these guys. I hadn't been to a conference in a while. Absolutely blown away with all of these ideas. Now, what's really cool is I was actually able to come home and implement them right away. And between then and December, which was the next time that I saw this crew at a micro SaaS application building workshop, which we can get into a little bit later. That's one of my side projects here, was the ability to really build an entire new real estate business specific to foreclosures and short sales in just that 2-month period. Absolutely incredible. And I'm going to share with you guys how I went and did that today. And of course, some of these tools that we're building, some things that are going to really help you guys build your business, scale, leverage, all that good stuff. So the philosophy here with creating what's called a hybrid agent, you probably saw in the marketing that I did with this, is really bringing the human element back into AI. We get so caught up in this, everything's turning to AI. There is no better, more important time than right now to bring the human element back into that. But to create this hybrid mechanism that allows us to still have that human connection, but drive things with AI, processing lots of data, drafting listings, schedulings, and making things happen fast, along with the ability for us to negotiate. I don't know that there's necessarily a chatbot out there that can negotiate. However, I built one that's able to negotiate setting an appointment for me. 2 of them, both have turned into listings, which we can talk about later as well. Also, emotional empathy. Think about sitting down with your client, somebody, especially with what I'm doing, but any client, like selling a house is a big deal. There's a lot of emotions. Buying a house, it's emotional, especially first-time home buyers. AI can't take that emotional empathy into there. Also, that hyper local context, although that is changing, but being able to sit in a car with a buyer, drive them around, showing them neighborhoods, talking about, stories about the pool and, all of the different things in a neighborhood. AI is not doing that. And then fact verification. This is something really important, is to have human oversight, especially in a lot of these autonomous agents, agentic agents, and making sure that we do have that human oversight before if we even do release some of these things autonomously. So really, AI is replacing the tasks that we're doing, not the relationships. Okay, so make sure we're not using that, not losing that human element. Say that 10 times fast, and be able to still focus on the high value client-centric work. Now, there are multiple LLMs out there. Okay, you may be going, LLM, what's LLM? That stands for large language model. And these are the 5 main ones. There's a few other ones out there. Grok, I know, is one of them. But these are the 5 that I felt were most important that we really see out there, that a lot of us in this business of AI and our business and entrepreneurialism, whether it's real estate, finance, plumbers, I mean, you name it, any of the trades. I mean, I met a solar guy at one of these conferences that is killing it with AI. Anyways, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and DeepSeek. Does it matter which one you use? No, it really doesn't. However, they each have a little bit of a unique position when it comes to what they're really good at. Now, ChatGPT, we call it the daily driver. This is where most of us have probably been indoctrinated into the world of AI. Is that pretty accurate for most of us? Oh, what's this ChatGPT thing? I think we knew ChatGPT before we actually knew it was AI. We would go and get recipes and ask questions. And before you know it, I don't know if any of you have done this, you start using Google a lot less, especially if you download the ChatGPT app on your phone and you dictate to it. I don't remember the last time I used Google for anything, to be honest with you. But you can really use ChatGPT for everything. It's really good at workflow design, basic questions. Don't use it to ask questions about the internet and comb the internet. It is not good at pulling up URLs and giving accurate, timely information. Okay. Claude, on the other hand, is a thinker. Okay. Claude is really good for writing. It's good for reviewing. It has a very human-like, natural tone to it. And we're going to get into how you can prompt all of these LLMs individually, collectively, to be more human, create more tone, become a version of you, but it has to know who you are first, what your values are, what your beliefs are, how you speak. All of those things go into be able to create that human-like natural tone. But Claude is really used as that thinker. Doesn't mean you can't use ChatGPT for that, but Claude is definitely one that's a little bit more for writers, designers, things of that nature. Gemini, the assistant. This is a great, great LLM if you are using Google for anything. Okay. If you have a Google suite of tools, I have a workspace account. I think it cost me $12 a month for like 5 users. And we get Google Docs. We get every Google product out there, the spreadsheets, the presentations, everything, all the Google suite of tools, it's all wrapped into Gemini. And I will be honest with you, before I get into the next two, I use ChatGPT and Gemini for 95% of everything I do because Gemini has so much wrapped into it. And they invested, I don't remember the numbers, and I'm not going to quote the numbers, a tremendous amount of money in AI 15 years ago. So now they're bringing a lot of these new things. Google AI Studio is now out. I mean, incredible stuff. Moving on, Perplexity. That's another LLM, great for real-time facts, citations, market data. What's really cool about Perplexity is there's a built-in browser, and it's called Comet. So let's take recruiting or agent attraction, for example, since I think all of us are real estate agents in here. If you were to go to ChatGPT and put in, let's say you had an agent that you'd been chatting with and that was interested in the company, and you wanted to set yourself up for your next meeting and knowing what to talk about, when to talk about it, how to talk about it, those types of things. And you put their LinkedIn URL and said, research this person, and you gave it the prompt. It's not going to give you great results. It's not going to really give you anything. But if you do the same thing in Perplexity and you open up the Comet browser, you'll actually see the browser. It's kind of creepy. Arrow move all over the screen within the LinkedIn profile, and it'll show you in the sidebar exactly what it's pulling and why. And let's say your prompt was, give me 3 things about this person's business right now that may indicate that they're struggling, or some areas that they focus on that's predominantly an area that they sell houses in, or maybe somewhere where we can offer some additional help. I'd like for you to outline 3 things that I should be talking about during our next meeting that may help us increase the chances of attracting them to my team, my brokerage, whatever it might be. So that's with Perplexity. DeepSeek, that's for the even bigger nerds who are really into coding. It's great for building custom tools. However, as Stephanie on the Zoom here had mentioned, using Lovable, which I know she's in the process of probably building some tools, some apps, some things that are going to help real estate agents sell more homes, make more money, live the lives that they want to live. All right, that was more time than I planned on spending on that. So, but I think it's really important to know what LLMs are. There's a bunch out there. Pick one or two. I use ChatGPT and Gemini for everything. This will make sense more. All right, so now signing the, I'm not going to spend too much time on here. Think about what you're using it for. Okay. Are you reviewing contracts? Are you market reports, writing emails, summarizing PDFs of inspections, ownership and encumbrance reports, whatever it might be, plats, surveys? Are you calculating deal projections? Where do these things go and how do they intersect? Which LLM are you going to do that? Okay. Think of how you want to route your tasks. Now, this is what I know a lot of you are like frameworks, or prompts. This is what I want. I want you to provide me prompts. I can give you all of the best prompts in the world. I actually just gave you one. But unless you know how to use them and you have a framework around creating prompts, those prompts are not going to be as good, as advantageous, as useful as you want them to be. And then being able to build off of this foundation within this framework, you can create whatever you want once you have things like your values, your belief, your tone, and all of that. All right. So the perfect agent framework looks like this. Tell the AI who to be. There are some AI experts out there, coaches, what have you, say, don't worry about that. I think it's still really important because it builds a mindset within you, me as the user, to really focus on who we want our, or what, who or what we want our LLM to be to create the results that we're looking for. Right? For example, act as a senior real estate strategist, act as a top listing agent, act as a top luxury listing agent in Beverly Hills, California. That's pretty dang specific, right? The second thing is context provision. Give it some background. Okay, let's take the luxury market again, for example. This listing that I'm going to be asking for more information from you is located on Rodeo Drive. It's a 5,000 square foot penthouse. It was formerly owned by this actor. It's this many square feet, bedrooms, bathrooms, views, all of those things. Give it enough context to know what it's pulling from so that when you ask it for results, it already has all of this context. Number 3 is the task definition. You have to tell it exactly what you want it to do. Write a 3 email nurture sequence, or generate a list of bullet points for a marketing piece. Generate a list of ideas for blog posts. Now, can you see using those tasks, now that you have the context and the role assignment, is going to make getting the rest of it so much easier. And this is the kicker, you guys, the magic phrase. This is the critical final step. Don't forget to do this. This should become part of your everyday vocabulary. I'm starting to ask my kids this. It's driving them nuts. They're older teenagers, so they just walk away anyways. But ask me any questions you have before starting. Okay? Act as a, I'm not going to go through a whole, we're going to go through some of these in a little bit. But is this good, you guys? Is this helping so far get you at least kind of the juices flowing for, all right, I can start to see where I can take some AI and start to implement in my business. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm getting caught off by the chat. I need to just remove it. Get off. Go away. All right, there we go. All right, constructing the prompt, identity and context. Now, defining the who and the why. Okay, you have to tell the AI what hat to wear. Who is it? We just went over these examples. Act as a luxury agent. There's again is the context provision. I forgot that I put these extra slides in here. These are what I put in this morning because I wanted to get a little bit more detailed on this, but I think I just went over these. Again, these slides will be saved for you guys. You can go back through them. Here are some more, a little bit more examples. Write a 3 email nurture sequence for my sphere of influence. And past home buyers, the email should highlight the lifestyle benefits of my new $1 million plus Mountain View listing and invite them to a private VIP showing. Before you begin writing the email sequence, ask me any questions you have about the property, the target audience, or my brand voice to ensure the output is perfect. Is that not good or what? And if you know, if you're using ChatGPT, what's it going to do? It's going to ask you a bunch of questions. And then, of course, it's going to offer you something else to do for you. You're like, yes, do that. Don't do that yet. You can always come back to that, but do this one thing at a time. All right. Whoop, went too far. All right. I want to move on to a very, very specific LM, which is a language model. And as you know, I mentioned earlier, ChatGPT and Gemini. My guess is that those are probably the two that you're leaning towards, although Claude's right up there as well. And of course, Perplexity, using for actual scraping of URLs and actual like live data. Really becoming a hybrid agent in 2026 is going to set you ahead. You've probably heard these phrases, AI agents you're going to be out of the business unless you adopt AI. That's not true. You're still going to be in the business. However, the agents who do adopt AI are not only going to rise above, but there's going to be a whole nother level of agents who have not only adopted it and tinker with it and play with it, who actually take it and use it and build something huge. Think of when the internet came along. It was like, oh, it's just going to be a fad. Social media came along. It's just going to be a fad. It'll come and go. It's not like that. I have some friends. My friend Austin Armstrong, 2.1 million followers on Facebook. He's built an entire business off of building a social media, and he really got cranking in 2019. It's only been 5-6 years. And now he's making millions of dollars a year. Anyways, that's a whole nother thing. My point is become that hybrid agent. Really adopt this stuff. NotebookLM is what I want to get into right now, because this is something I use every single day, and I'm finding myself using it more and more for more and more things in my business. Some of this stuff will actually blow you away. Okay. What's great about NotebookLM, for one, it's a Google product, so it's already integrated in with your Google account. Okay. It's already there. Attaching Google Docs, PDFs, spreadsheets, slides, hint, hint, anything can be done right in there. All right. What's great is it's grounded. It doesn't pull anything outside of what you put into it. ChatGPT, other LLMs, they will hallucinate. They'll pull in stuff. You're like, what is that? That doesn't make sense. Or all of a sudden it just won't do something that it was doing the day before, and it doesn't make sense. NotebookLM, there is none of that, because it's only pulling from the data, the information, the documents that you're giving it to them. It can process audio, video, text. It can do it all together. It can create infographics. It can create slide decks. It can create presentations. It can create audio, like podcast style. It's incredible, right? As I mentioned, there's guardrails on it. So it's only citing your documents. There's basically no hallucinations whatsoever. When I started using this a month or two ago, I was using it as a research assistant. And now what I've realized is, and I'll show you my dashboard here in a bit. Actually, you know what? I'll show it to you guys right now. What this looks like when it comes to different dashboards. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can see I have all of these different ones in here. This is an REO property that I have in here. This has all of these different sources. I think it was like 50 something odd sources. I can do whatever I want with it. I can create a video over. I create all kinds of reports. I can create a slide deck, data table, infographic. I can also choose all of these documents, PDFs, text, whatever's in here, or I can just pick one out and have it do something from there. So, let's just say it was an infographic I wanted to create for this listing. I would go in here and I can actually tell it exactly what I want it to do. And again, if you use the 4-step prompt framework that I shared with you, all you have to do is plop that in here and it'll create exactly what you want. How do you guys think I got these slides that you're looking at today? I'm not like Mr. Slide guy that can do all this stuff, right? I'll get back into this here in a little bit more. I'm sure you guys are going to want to see more. I'll open one up and we can do a few exercises and stuff like that if that's helpful for you. How are we doing on time? Okay, I think we're doing awesome. Let's see. All right, so I want to just run through a couple of examples of some things that you can use it for that are applicable, you can take away today, and you can start implementing right away. If we can do that, you guys can leave today with some tangible things. Is that cool? All right, awesome. Centralize everything. Put for a listing. You get a new listing. You have somewhere. I know you're putting everything into your compliance. We use SkySlope. We enter all our docs in there. Put them all in here. Okay. Put your CMAs in there. Put all of your notes from when you went out to the property. Put all your photographs in there. Put all of your report, everything that you can think of. all of the justify the $50,000 price gap using the comps. I mean, you can put comps in there. You're dealing with a seller who may not want to lower their price. You put all those in there, and then you can handle that objection simply by uploading that in there. As I mentioned, put all of your notes in there. I have handwritten notes that I've actually gone through. I've pulled out of a binder. I've put in my scanner that's over there. I've scanned them all in as individual PDFs. This is really crucial. You can put all of those into one folder. Let's just say in your Google Drive, but have them as individual docs, because if you want to create reports, infographics, get real specific, you can, as I showed you before, pinpoint just those individual documents, photos, text, videos, whatever, and have those reports pulled directly from that. Okay. NotebookLM, once again, is a Google product. You can attach your Google Drive. And this stuff is seamless, and it's so fast. It's so fast. All right. Home buyer concierge, right? You can put multiple MLSs to find, the perfect home with it. Now, I know there's a carryover with our MLS here, but if you set this up properly, you can take, like, it says HOA docs, simplify it into 5-bullet summaries. You can take a seller property disclosure and have it explain to a seller exactly what it is in text, in a video, by audio, however you want. Put in neighborhood guides, upload local data, news, zoning info. You can even put in URLs. Where do you guys think I'm coming up with all of this information for content? I'm putting it all into NotebookLM, and I'm having it do only what it needs to do based on what I want it to do. And I'm not pulled in multiple different directions. Marketing, right? What are you going to do about marketing? Well, you can upload different market reports, draft newsletters, take screenshots of some of your competitors' marketing pieces that you like and or do very well, and have it create very similar and like marketing pieces with your branding, your styling, your colors, all of those things. Upload your brand voice. You can save brand guidelines within NotebookLM. So, for example, these slides were all done in a color palette that I uploaded to NotebookLM. I just simply copied and pasted it. It's in a Google document called color palette. Boom, there you go. Use the color palette, and I made it an actual brand guide. So it knows. I don't have to keep repeating myself. And that should be a common thing and something to take away from here. Once you build some of these things, you set them up properly, you learn the right prompting framework, the rest of it becomes really easy. But what happens is we have that shiny object syndrome, and we jump in and we have all these multiple windows and tasks and all this stuff open, and we can't remember what's where. And then we have our ChatGPT, for example, saying, hey, would you like for me to also put together a 10-page PDF brochure of your listing? You're like, heck yeah. And then you wait and it puts it together, and maybe you're even more resourceful and you open another tab and you get something else started. And then you come back to it and it's like, hey, here's your PDF. Blah, blah. Hey, how about a walkthrough video tour of the property script it just goes on and on and on and on and on. You guys get that. Social execution, you can have it repurposing other videos. You can pull other videos off the internet, and you can have it repurpose those, pull out the transcript, make it in your own voice. Now, you guys, I'm not saying copy and rip off and duplicate people's stuff exactly, but the stuff that works is already out there. You can pull all of that, make it your own, regurgitate the best content. I know it's simple, not easy. And again, we'll talk more about that as we continue to build this out. And just so you guys know, for those of you who stick around to the end, I'm going to be sharing with you some actual custom prompts. I'm going to be sharing with you some custom GPTs, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys, like, again, it's totally free. There's no sales. There's no pitch. I want you guys to get into this community because there's going to be a lot of free, cool stuff. There's also going to be some paid stuff, and I want to get you guys into that early on for free so you don't have to pay for it later because you're here. You're my OGs. And that is even if you're watching the recording, you're going to have a couple days to get into this stuff. So, all right, cool. Streamlining skill building, team building. So if you're a recruiter, you're a team leader, you're building your downline for agent attraction, you can streamline everything by putting new agents chat with SOPs instead of calling you, right? You can create some autonomous agents to reply to some of the ads that you're doing where people are coming in and asking questions, right? You can also, if you're building a team and let's say you're needing buyer's agents or seller's agents, or like myself, agents who are interested and want to go all in with short sales in the default world. I have a few people interested now. I'm getting pseudo resumes from them. I'm pulling LinkedIn profiles. I'm pulling all their different, stuff that's out there, and I'm having it compare who would be the best candidate or best candidates, the pros and the cons and all that. You can reduce administrative by a ton. I don't know about 80% at this point, but I know we're getting there. I am working on some human assistance, but what I've been able to do and build and leverage without other humans in a very, very short amount of time, I will easily double my business where I'm at right now. And I'm not saying that to like be cocky or whatever. I know that simply because of what's already been built as a result of what I built in the last 4 months. It's pretty crazy. So, all right, here's a quick workflow router for you, just to give you an idea of how everything, again, gels together with what's really your brain, or could be your brain, of your real estate business. PDFs, contracts, market reports, any raw data, feed it in. From there, you can take a lot of that data out. You can do a lot in NotebookLM, but if you want to get bigger and go to a large language model, take it into Claude, take it into ChatGPT, take it into Perplexity, take it into one of those and use it for the reasons like we spoke before. All right. All right. Whoops. Some trends and predictions for 2026 and beyond. There are so many things on the horizon. I'm keeping my nose to the grindstone somewhat, but there's just so much. And I'm really working to make sure I can keep the connection with real estate agents, helping myself build my business, helping you guys build your business using AI. The hyper personalization is becoming really, really important to pay attention to. For example, like the Spotify of homes, like lifestyle based search, not just bedrooms, bathrooms, location, the standard demographics, but we're working on psychographics. It sounds nuts, but really psychographics. What are the lifestyles? Again, what are the beliefs, the values? What's important to these people? When we can find this stuff up front, the hyper personalization of putting together searches, listings, so forth becomes absolutely incredible. The staging and the virtual staging, I'm sure many of us have seen the ability to, for lack of a better term, manipulate photos. Now we have to keep the stuff within our MLS regulations and guidelines. There's a lot of things that companies are coming out with now that are a lot less expensive than they were early on to create these realistic furnishings, and not just putting furniture in there, but actually people being able to change the furniture and all kinds of good stuff. Also, predictive analytics. The prediction on when people are likely to sell has become extremely granular. We used to there's companies out there that run some reports on, the length of time people have owned homes, but this actually pulls up even more data, public knowledge, social media profiles, things like that, to the point where it's kind of creepy. But at the same time, these are the things we need to know about, because these are the things that those of us that want to end up in that top 5% of agents using AI to really build massive businesses, to whatever your level of massive is. For some people, that might be 10. For some people, it might be 10,000. But whatever it is that you want to do can be done with that. Smart sustainability stuff within housing has also gone absolutely nuts with AI. So lots of things coming just down the pipe, and it's happening very, very quickly. Now, in our industry, Zillow is now has a median error rate that's less than 2%. Now, that's coming from them. However, this estimate that we've all, been against for so long, it's becoming more and more accurate, and that's where the consumer goes. So as a side note, real estate agents, make sure you know what the Zestimate says when you go on a listing appointment. Whether you agree with it or not, that's probably what your folks think it's worth. But if you take that, you take Redfin, you take all this data, you put it in NotebookLM and have it do the work, and then put it into an LLM and have it put a report, a summary, an infographic, whatever you want, man, it's there. Compass, they're offering market trend insights to agents, which is increasing productivity. Skyline AI analytic features with a 20 to 30% higher accuracy than traditional models. And then Redfin's doing some funky stuff too. So here's your implementation roadmap, you guys. Pick one LLM to master first. If you're not using any of them and you're just getting started, go in and start poking around with ChatGPT. If you guys want, I'll open mine up. We can poke around. You can ask some questions. Number two, start automating some of your low risk tasks, some of your listings, some of your captions, some of your social media posting. You can start automating these things with some general prompts and some custom GPTs, which I'll show with you here in a bit. Step three, refined. Build your business brain. Get into NotebookLM. Start to understand how it works. For the future, I will be doing another free session that's an hour just on NotebookLM. I kept getting pulled to it because I use it so much now, like right now, that I know that's something that you guys are going to want to gravitate to as well. And then as you build this out, expand, start integrating some custom GPTs for workflows, things that would be really nice. Do you guys want a custom GPT that'll just write your emails for you? You just have to tell them, answer a bunch of questions. My guess is that you do, and I'm not watching the chat, but I'm going to come back. I will go back through the chat too and know what you guys want, and I will make sure that you get it, whether it's through this webinar or through some of the where we're going. So this is a QR code. If you're on your computer on Zoom, use your phone, scan it. This is going to take you to a new Facebook group that I built. Again, it's a regular Facebook group. This webinar, I will share it in there because this is a smaller group. It's less than 100 people. We just launched it. I'd love for you guys to join it because what's going to happen from there is that's where I'm going to be sharing a lot of this stuff. I really want you guys to go to that. It's going to be all this way. You can always go to this group, ask questions. I will be very involved with it. I'm working on bringing in another admin and a moderator who's like so incredible with AI. Will change everything. So I want this to be a safe space for everyone too, to be able to come in and ask questions. There's no dumb questions. I will kick people out like that if there's any nonsense. Anyways, scan the QR code. I'd love to see you guys in that Facebook group. I appreciate you being here. I know we went through a lot. It was funny. What did I say? 35, 40 minutes. When I created this slide deck in NotebookLM, I said I needed between 35 and 40 minutes. And here's how I talk. This many words per minute, blah, 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 blah. I'm not taking questions. So get in there. Don't be left behind. Future-proof for business today. Join us. We're being hybrid agents. We're bringing that human element back in with AI, and we're going to become that top 5%. So what I'm going to do now is I want to open it up for you guys for questions. There's all my slides. I will open my computer up. This is everything that I have open right now that I am working on. And who has some questions? You can go ahead. Anybody raise their hand? You guys know how to raise your hand? If you just go to like the reactions emoji, you can just go in there and raise your hand. Renee, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. What's up?
So in NotebookLM, you said there were videos. What kind of videos can you create in there?
Okay, so can you be a little bit more specific?
Um,
What are you trying to
well,
accomplish? Let me ask you that.
okay, so why I bought Hagen is because Canva used to use Hagen when they created videos, and it was multiple avatars, I guess you'd say, and it had sound with it. Is that something that NotebookLM is capable of doing?
You could, again, I hate to keep drilling on you. What's the end result that you're looking for? What are you trying
Um,
to produce?
I had an AI video that I created on Canva that went viral, and I just had in wording 24%, less than 24% of new home buyers had kids under the age of 18, and it was mom and dad opening the door and all these kids running in and saying, "I love it," and it had tons of views. And so I want videos like that.
Okay, so I gotcha. You could, that wouldn't be my first go-to, would be NotebookLM. My first go-to would be Gemini Nano Banana.
Oh,
So
really?
it would, yep, absolutely 100%. So for example, like, um, you guys, it's just an image. You can create videos in here. You're going to want to use VO31, VEO. No, no. There we go. So if you see when you go into Gemini, if you're not a Google Workspace user, you don't have a professional business account, you may not see these.
Okay.
You may have to pay a slight upgrade. I will tell you right now, it's totally worth it. It's absolutely totally worth it because all you need to do, Renee, in here is go
Hmm.
to the create VEO 3.1 and then just prompt. So, for example, tell me what, just give me like the bullet points on what that video was.
Okay. A video of a family walking into their new home. Excited that they got it.
Okay, watch how I take what she just told me and generate this. Generate a social media video, so a 9:16 video that is of a family purchasing their first home. They're excited. They're walking through the front door. They're jumping for joy as they've just moved into their first home and they can't believe it. And as they're walking through, the big smiles on their faces are showing that ultimate level of excitement. And then towards the end of this video, there's confetti coming down, and it says on the screen in text, "Congratulations, Smith family, on the purchase of your first home." I'd like for the video to be hyper realistic, cinematic, and have proper cuts and zooms based on the level of excitement that this family has. Ask me any questions that you have. Okay, did you guys see the difference between what I just prompted and what Renee would have prompted? And that's not a bust on you at all, Renee. It's just simply to prove a point. Now you're probably asking, well, where did that all go? Sometimes that happens. There it is. So while that's generating, we'll come back to it. It's going to take a couple minutes, but while that's generating, who else has a question?
Hey, so Jeff, I'm looking at the Notebook LM sign up here. Is there a free version that I see?
Go to notebooklm.google.com. I do believe they have a free version and it has most of the features. If you look, you can see on my screen up in the top right, it says Pro. And that is only because I have a workspace account. So, and doesn't every EX, nah, I don't know if it's a workspace account. I think at exprealty.com is a Google workspace account. I could be wrong, but check that because if it is, then you can sign in. So in the top right, you can pick which account you want to sign in with. Oh, here, let's do
Itzy,
it.
can you answer that?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
I don't believe because ours are just what do they call them? Vanity emails that forward. I don't believe we have a separate Google space for agents.
If I could just type. Let's see. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's just see what it does. Oh. So it's opening. Hold on, you guys. Yeah, you have one. Yeah. So here, let me I can pull this in here. I should be able to
Good to know.
yeah, let me change my let me share. Yeah, check this out, you guys. So this is my EXP account. See in the top right corner?
What is the website for that?
So if you go to notebooklm.google.com, it's up in the top left corner of the screen. Can you guys see that? Nope. Welcome to Notebook LM screen. Let me see what I'm
Yes.
sharing. What am I sharing? What am I sharing? Yeah. So check that out in the top right. You can see I'm logged into my EXP account. Check it out, you guys. It says Pro right next to it. So guess what? You also get all those Pro features in Gemini. Just make sure, and you guys know this, if you have multiple Google accounts, you have to be logged in with that specific Google account. So if you have jeff@gmail.com, I'm only going to get free features. But if I have Jeff in this case, jeff.rumsey@exprealty.com, I have a Google Suite with that. I get all the same features. I
Wow.
just happen to have my Google Workspace account from years and years and years ago. But if you don't have one and you want to utilize your EXP is already paying for it, you might as well use it. Not to mention that, make a side note, you guys, that is an attraction tool right there. Holy mackerel. You guys that are watching the recording, this is not an EXP sponsored event. It's just there are EXP agents on here. It came up. We just literally found this out, but this is so cool. Anyways, now you guys are going to geek out on this and you're not going to pay attention to anything more we're talking about, huh? Which is fine. Dave, good question, my man. See what you unopened?
Yeah.
Pandora's box. So now you guys can get in there and do this exact thing like I have in here. So you can see multiple, you can open, I think, as many as you want. Okay. What else, you guys? Let's see if this video is done for Renee.
So Gemini is separate from Notebook LM. Am I correct?
So what I want you guys to understand is, remember the 5 LLMs I went over?
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT is OpenAI's source. Okay. There's custom GPTs, which I'll show you guys in a minute, that you can use inside of ChatGPT. Then you have Gemini, which is a large language model. Same thing as ChatGPT. Gemini is housed within the Google suite of tools. So what's cool is you get this Gemini that you're looking at here on the screen. You're going to get Notebook LM. You're going to get, check this out. I thought I was logged in. Yeah. So you get a Google AI Studio. You can poke around in here. You can build all kinds of stuff. You get all the different models, all the different Gemini. Get to Flash preview. Gemini 2.5 Pro, 3 Pro is in there now. I mean, you get all of this. The cool thing is you can connect everything that's Google related. Your Drive, your calendar, your Gmail. Imagine just going through and having Gemini scrape your email. You guys, if you use Gmail, up in the right corner is a Gemini button. It looks like a diamond. If you click it, you can just have it go, hey, I need you to pull all the emails that have to do with 123 Main Street. Yeah, you may have a folder with them all. That's cool. I'd like for you to pull all the ones from 123 Main Street and summarize the last week of emails, because I feel lost and buried with emails from title and the inspector and the other agent and the processor. I'm just overwhelmed. Could you please go through and summarize those emails for me and let me know who I need to get back to right away so I don't lose this deal? Something like that. So these are all included in this Google Suite here. Super, super cool, you guys. This right here, yeah. You're gonna get an email from me. You're gonna have a link to this document here. This is a live document. You're not going to be able to change it. You can make a copy for yourself. The only problem is your copy won't get the updates. So it's just got a simple intro on here. The replay is going to be in here. So I'll have links to the replay in here. I'll have some other resources for you, probably some other custom GPTs. I'm like hinting for you guys to start asking about those, but we can jump in there in a minute. And then the transcript. So the transcript will be in here as well. You'll be able to see the chat. I'll answer some of the questions, and maybe I can go in here in a minute. We can go through those, and then the Zoom the Zoom chat will be in this thing. Okay, so a live document here. I will share that with you. You guys want to see something cool real quick? First of all, who else has a question? Anyone? Do I have any hands up? If you want, just go ahead and hit reactions. You can raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself, or I can unmute you. All right. I want to show you guys something cool. So let's talk practicality. Now, my guess is most of you, well, I know a few of you, Dave, your main focus is not lead generation for people who are in foreclosure. Mine is. But I want you to take what I'm going to show you and think to yourself, what could I do? What could I build? What could I put and implement into my business that will save me some time and create an efficiency that not only helps me in my business, but something that I could potentially share with other agents to help them too. That extra part's like the cherry on top, the dessert. But let me show you something that I built that streamlined what would take me 10 to 15 minutes a week to less than 10 seconds a week. Now, if you do the math, an hour 15 versus 10 seconds. Okay, so think about the power in that. This couldn't even be done with like just a spreadsheet. Anyways, let me show you what I'm doing. All right. Now you can see right here the Colorado NED list sheet cleaner. This isn't a micro app that I built. I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer. I've never done any of this kind of stuff. I just know that I have a very creative brain and I know what to say to get a result. It doesn't happen right away, but to create something that is helping me. Anyways, let me show you what this is. So each week there is and I'm going to do this live for you guys. So each week there's a foreclosure list that comes out. I would take that list, and it's a messy list. It's got all kinds of extra weird columns and all that. I just need people's names, phone number, or names, address, lender, loan amount, and the date of the foreclosure. And the county is one of them. That's all I need. I don't need all the rest of the stuff. I don't need the legal description. I don't need all that. What I would take is I'd zip those columns out, and then I would create individual tabs for each county. And then I would cut from each one and I'd put it in each county. And then I would rename it and I would go through all these steps. And then I got really clever one day and I was like, you know what? What if I created a column that did a simple math formulation to tell me the difference between the original loan amount and the current loan amount? And if it was upside down, to make it red. And I thought that was like the best thing ever. So like, that's sweet. That's cool. Now I can actually see like what things are at. I can make sense of this. I can click the individual tabs. And then I got another really cool idea. But before I implemented this idea, I said, I'm going to build this app first because I know what I want it to do. And I can explain it well enough that I can use, and I use Replit. I know Stephanie had mentioned Lovable, which is a similar tool. And if you're interested in getting this stuff, let me know and I will send you a link and I'll help you, whatever you want to build. Built this tool to take that spreadsheet that I get from title and just do it automatically so I don't have to do it. You guys want to see how that works? All right. I need to just pull up a spreadsheet. So since you guys can see here. Let's go. Actually, you know what? It's going to be on my Finder. Hold on. There's my downloads. You guys can see that. Okay. Let's see. Foreclosure. All right. So this one here, this is an XLX file. This is the unedited document that I get from a title representative. Sean Archer, if you're watching, thanks, buddy. And you guys can get this too. All right. Can you see that opening? Good deal. All right. Yeah. Sorry, you guys. This is actually not the right one. I had it open before. All right, here we go. This is the most current. You can see some of the ones in here that I scrubbed. I think this one will work. All right, let's open this one. All right. So now let's do browse files. I could have just done this in here, but I wanted to make sure I got the right one. So I browse files there. Oh, this is why. Duh. All right. This one here. Boom, done. Watch, look, check this out. Now I download the clean file. Foreclosure, I'm just going to asterisk this now so I can find it easily. Remember, this is like 15 or so minutes each week. And I'll just upload it in here. I already have it, but whoop, wrong one. Crap. There it is. All right. There it is, you guys. You see that? Check that out. So this is the main, it just did it. That was an ugly spreadsheet. You guys saw it. I opened it. This only has the columns that I need. It has them all spaced correctly. It gives me everything. Look at this loan difference column. This one's underwater, 18,589, 16, 17. These people have equity. Probably not a short sale, but their house going to foreclosure. Some of them are zero. But now check this out. It also has all the columns, each county. By county. I don't have to copy and paste all that. So the idea that I had, and then I said, oh, I can just put it in the spreadsheet. And I said, no, I'm going to build an app to do it, was this idea right here. I have a connection, for lack of a better term, at Colorado Housing and Finance Authority. This person is in charge of all of their short sales, loss mitigation, all that stuff. I've known this gentleman since 2007. Okay. We're on a very good first name basis. And they're, I don't want to say slam dunks, but I get these short sales approved usually within 72 hours. Soup to nuts, the whole thing. And so why wouldn't I call those people first? Boom. It creates an entire Jaffa list for me. You guys, I was in seconds. And I'll be completely transparent, honest with you guys, as I always will be. That took me about 30 minutes total to build with like 2 or 3 iterations. And cost me like less than $8. So my point with all this is, and why I showed you, is think about something in your business that solves a problem. And if you can think about something that solves a problem for you or someone else, another agent, before we actually know it's a problem, that's where we have the kicker. It wasn't a problem for me to alter the spreadsheet every week for my likings to make my job easier. It wasn't a problem. However, when I realized that there was a way that I could do it better. I found a solution to a problem that I didn't know existed. Does that make sense? That's the key. And if you're building stuff, you want to build apps, I love it. I have a bunch of them that we're in the process of building. And fortunately, I have a developer that I can work with and consult with that helps with some of the things along the way. So anyways, all right, cool. Well, we're right at the top of the hour. That was really good timing. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to answer some of these questions in the chat. I believe most of you guys are still here. Yeah, it looks like it. All right, cool. Let me go through. Wes. What's up, Wes? Thought I saw you come in. You still here? All right. Yeah. Only mainly use ChatGPT and Gemini. Those are the only ones I'm using, 95%. The only other time I will use another LLM, a different one, is Perplexity with the Comet browser. You guys want to see what that looks like? Of course you do, right? So it looks exactly the same. You can, I haven't been in here in a little while. Come on, button. Oh, something's stuck here. Where'd it go? Anyways, it works. Oh, there we go. Oh, interesting. They may have changed some things around. Like I said, I don't use this that often, but this is what you'd want to use with the there's a Comet browser in here. Upgrade. Oh, okay. They have all these different upgrades now. Interesting. Anyways, play around with it. But yeah, Wes, ChatGPT and Gemini are going to give you everything. I've really become a huge Gemini fan. You can build gems in Gemini, very similar to how you can build custom GPTs in ChatGPT. And I want to jump into ChatGPT for a bit too and show you guys a few things. And then I can share, and I'll share them in the share them in the chat. What you can do, just click them, it'll add them to your custom GPTs. Let's see, ChatGPT, Gemini. Oh, look at Stephanie's busy. Dang. ChatGPT, Gemini, Canva, Lovable, Supabase, something else with IOE in the name. There's so much stuff out there. That's like what I was saying before, you guys. Even just putting this together, I was just pulled in so many different directions. So I hope the generalization, the basics, and then some of this actual practicality is helpful for you guys. Say his name again. Anik, Lovable, ChatGPT, Canva, Wes, Syllabi. So that actually is my buddy Austin's company. So Austin, I remember when Austin launched that, I was one of his first 10 customers. I strongly believe that if you have friends that are selling something and you want it, just pay full price. Don't ask for discounts and all that kind of stuff. And I learned that from him a long time ago, and he rolled it out. It was like $5 a month, and it was very, very minimal. The stuff that you can do with it now is incredible. So if you guys are interested in Syllabi, let me share a link with you guys. It's an affiliate link. Yes, I'll make a little bit of money. But if you're using it, I'm using it as well. I don't use it as much as I was. However, what Austin's doing, they've added in VEO 3.1. They've added in all of these other language models on the video side of things to just up their game, and they're constantly doing it. Let me give you guys the link here. I'll put it in the chat, and that way it will also be in the chat transcript. Let's see. There we go. All right. That is in the chat for Syllabi. Let me share this with you guys as well. This is a resource for you guys. This will also be in the Facebook group as well. But for right now, if you just want to grab it, You want to save it in your drive. It's a spreadsheet of like the most used AI tools, that I'm using, that I know a lot of other people are using. Some of them are affiliate links. I don't share anything in there that I'm not already using or that I haven't used. And the whisper flow, I don't know if you guys noticed that earlier when I left that long prompt. There's no way I could have typed that. That link is in there as well. It's called Whisper Flow. It is awesome. My statistics for that thing for December said that I was typing at 100 words per minute, the equivalent of, which is, I think if you type like 50 words a minute, you're cranking. I don't know enough about that, but what else, you guys? I'll stick around for another 10 minutes. Do you want to jump into some ChatGPT? What do you guys want to do? You want some GPTs? Somebody got to speak up. You can
Yeah,
use the
let's see
chat.
a little bit of the GPTs, Jeff.
Okay, so this is my ChatGPT dashboard in here. I don't know what your guys's looks like. My guess is it probably looks a little bit different with this GPT menu. My guess maybe yours looks maybe a little more like this. Is that pretty accurate? You're probably like, what is this? Well, this is a custom GPT. But I think it's important too, just to maybe real briefly, just look at what's in here. Because I know we get really excited and we just open ChatGPT and we get right in and we just want something because we want a result. We want it quickly, right? That's AI. It should be giving us instant, automatically instant, right? Isn't that what AI stands for? There's different models. Okay, you'll see here, this is 5.2. This is the most recent and updated model, and your dashboard will always default to the most recent model. There are other models. Now, within each model, there are subcategories. The auto will decide how long to think, instant answers right away, and then thinking is going to think for longer answers. If you just needed to know how many ounces are in a cup, you could probably just do instant. But if you needed to know where to find a very specific brand of measuring cup that also does liters per whatever, it does all these measurements and can weigh this, then you might want to do it in thinking mode. Okay. That's just an example. Now you get into the legacy models. You can see there's a whole bunch of them. Don't be overwhelmed with this. Just use 5.2 for pretty much everything. You can use like the 4.0 is actually really good. But it's developer stuff. Like, you don't just use the most recent version and you'll be fine. You don't really need any of this stuff. New chat, search for chats. So if your chat looks like this, where you just have a million different things, I mean, random stuff. I mean, Rob Reiner's death news, Opus, like it's all over the place. How do you find something? Use the search chats. Okay. You just go in here and type one of the words that was in, what you needed. Like, bread recipe. I'm sure I have one in here somewhere, right? No, but I did have another one. I had whatever recipe it pulled up. I guess I don't have a bread recipe in there. Search images, any images that you may have created in ChatGPT. You can see I've messed around with some imagery here. This, the imagery was horrible with ChatGPT. With 5.0 and 5.1, it was so bad. And that's when like Nano Banana came out through Gemini, which again, Google product, which was awesome. So good. So good. So that's where I started doing everything. But this was one of the last photos that I got. And I was like, no, that is not what I'm looking for. So I switched out of it. However, recently they've updated it. It's great. You probably saw all the spearmint, whatever, lollipop, candy cane, Christmas AI photos. Now, while there's nothing wrong with that, just stop doing that stuff or use it for something a little bit more purposeful, but like jumping on that train. And I don't know. I know it's fun and all, but there's also a lot of use cases for it where you could actually like build a library of those to, anyways, that's just my 2 cents. But this is some, developing this logo, having color fonts and all that kind of stuff. It actually does a really good job in here. All right, GPTs. David, I know you're asking. You can create your own custom GPTs. You can build them. There's a little button up in the corner. That's not in here, but anyways, you can create your own GPTs. You can build your own. You can also, if somebody shares some with you, all you have to do is click the link, open it, and it will add it to your sidebar. So for example, Dave, since you asked, do you, let's do the rapid email polisher. What do you want to do? Let's write an email. Okay.
Okay.
So I hit the start button. This is a custom GPT. If this is one that you guys want, I will share it in the chat. You just grab it. Can you read this?
Wow. Ironically, that's what I was doing this morning, was warming up a lead. It was
Well,
kind of a follow up and warm up.
Okay, so let's use that specific one as an example. So what type of email is this?
It was
Outreach, follow up, nurture, reply, other.
let's do a follow up to a seller that we haven't spoke with in the past 6 months.
And it's for home seller. What kind of tone do you want?
Friendly, informational.
Okay. And then just give me the story, and I'm gonna regurgitate it. But what's your rough draft, key bullet points? Like, what are you trying to get across? Talk to me, Goose. That's the top.
Okay, we are trying to schedule an appointment with this client that we made initial contact with 12 months ago. House value is approximately $550,000. Need to get an appointment, a face-to-face appointment.
Okay. We have been trying to get a hold of this particular home seller for a number of months, and we'd like to get across a market value for this particular lead that we'd like for it to become a client. And we'd like the email to be generated in such a way that it prompts the potential seller to either respond or maybe click a link to get an updated home value, because home values have changed. The market has shifted and things are different. We'd really like to get a hold of this seller. They've been hard to get a hold of, and we'd like to get this email not only opened, so we need a very catchy subject line, we really want it read. So a good headline and a good first sentence is imperative as well. Ask me any questions you have. You guys like that?
Yeah.
I couldn't type that. You know how long we would have been sitting here for the next 20 minutes, and I'd be all frustrated, backspacing. My ADHD brain would be going all over the place. So here's your email. Okay. It didn't ask me any questions, but this is enough. Hey there, I know it's been a while since we last connected, but I want to reach out because home values in your area have shifted more than most people expect over the past few months. A few homeowners we spoke with recently were surprised by how different their numbers looked compared to last year, and in some cases by a lot. If you're curious, you can see your updated estimate here in about 30 seconds. Boom, put the link, or rather, you just reply to this email. Happy to give you a quick, no pressure rundown. Either way, I hope you're doing well and happy to make blah, blah, blah. Then there's a second option. Then there's a third option. Couple of questions. Do you have a specific neighborhood? Do you want this to feel more personal? See how what it's doing? It's really bringing it down to give you exactly what you want. And when you spend the time up front, now this GPT was built specifically to ask these questions, to be able to then generate the response that you're exactly looking for. Cool or cool?
I love it.
Isn't that awesome? So I'm guessing you want it, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
it's called the custom rapid. Hold on. Is it the rapid email polisher? Yeah, that's the rapid email polisher. And here you go. Excuse me. So now, whether you're watching this live and you want to click on it in the chat, or you're watching the recording, you can click on it in the chat. And if you look at my screen, what'll happen is once you click it, it will open up. So let's just say I have this one here, meeting minutes summarizer. Okay, let's just say I click the link and it added. It's going to look like this on my screen. Once you click this start button, it will be added to your side. I'm pointing over here. It'll be added to your side menu. Here's what's key though. Once it's in your side menu, you need to click the 3 dots here and click Save to Sidebar. That's how all of these are in here. So these are ones that I've been working with recently. Like Dharma will probably, I'm not using her right now. That sounds so bad. But I'll hide it. It's still there, but it's going to be hidden from my GPTs because these are the ones that I'm popping into. Okay. There's also an Explore GPTs. You can go in here and there's a whole bunch of different categories. What are you trying to do? Do you want to write? You know, you have all of these different ones in here. And you can try them. You can always delete them. Some of them are good. Some of them aren't, just like anything else. It's worth checking it out. And then projects. These are huge, you guys. If you haven't started any projects, I recommend that you do. You can see their folders. Okay, think of it as a folder. What do you think's in that one that says Facebook posts? Right? And I've already given this project very specific instructions and brand guidelines and voice and tone. All I have to go in there is go do this. Pretty sweet. Right?
Okay.
So I will open this for you guys and you can see. And those of you who follow me on Facebook or have been watching, what you've seen that some of my posts they're disruptive. They ride that line, which in today's polarized culture, it causes all kinds of drama. But clicks, clicks and follows and comments and likes and conversation. I have no problem with that. But you can see each one of these folders has, I don't want to call it a document. It's just another subfolder. But these are all Facebook posts related. You guys have seen, I've been sharing some prompts. You know, those black backgrounds and then the 5 prompts in the comment section. That's what this one is here. I have a foreclosure survey. That one's pretty cool. I can go in here and, if I want to touch up what the survey looks like, it saves everything. You can look how long this is, right? You've seen some of these. Guys, take screenshots of stuff, feed it in here and duplicate it. Don't copy word for word. I did a similar post to this picture right here, but I didn't use the same photo. I used a similar font, but this was completely rewritten. I didn't take anything from Realtor.com. I actually quoted Realtor.com, and I do in all of them that I quote Realtor.com. Not that it's anything about Realtor.com, but it's not me saying it. You can get me as mad as Realtor.com as you want. What do they say? Don't kill the messenger. So, and that's mostly with ChatGPT. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on for days. But anyone have any more questions?
Hey
Good.
Jeff, when you make the custom GPTs, do you need like an upgraded account to be able to do that, or?
I do believe so. I think you need to have a pro account to build your own GPTs. I could be wrong. Well, hey, let's find out. In order for a ChatGPT user to build custom GPTs, do they need to have a pro account, or is this something that is part of a free account? And is there a limit to how many custom GPTs you can build? Now, I didn't use the ask me any questions you have because I don't care. I just want an answer to that right now, right? Now, I could go to Google, right? What would I get if I went to Google and I put that in? One result? No, I'm going to get like 5 million. And then I got to filter through all that. You do have to be on a paid ChatGPT subscription. However, Wes, if you have some ideas on building some custom GPTs, I'd be happy to chat with you about building those and connecting. There's a million different ways to do it. And you guys, what's happening right now, this is a total side note, with like, ChatGPT is going to start adding ads, right? If you didn't see that, go look at that. That's huge, you guys. When Google started rolling out ads, it was like the gold rush of the early 2000s because it was brand new. And then, of course, over time, Google changed their algorithm. Facebook ads changed their algorithm. Sucker had to keep taking more and more money. I mean, it's just how it works. So getting in now with understanding these custom GPTs and where ads are coming in is huge. It's huge. I guess that answers your question, Wes, huh? Yeah, hit me up
Yep.
privately if you have some ideas. Um, Here's what's cool about custom GPTs. You can sell them, but they're also really easy to share. That one that I just shared with you guys, the Rapid Email Polisher, I didn't build that one. That one was shared with me, along with all the other ones that are in here that I have saved. But if you build if I built an app, that would be different because that I can put some safeguards on, that I can charge for. So, all right. Anybody else? We've been on for a little while here. And if not, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys being here live. If you're watching the recording, appreciate you staying till the end. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. The Google document I did share in the chat. So go back to that. I highly, again, recommend that you guys go to the Facebook page. There's the QR code again. We're going to be building that out. All the stuff's going to be shared in there, and then we'll blow it out from there. We're working on some other really cool stuff, some fun tools, all to help you guys sell more homes, make more money, spend more time with your families, do more of the things that you want to do, streamline your businesses, your processes, your procedures, build out some frameworks that you can then put a foundation in place and build off of. And you guys will be blown away at where this will take your business. So until next time, you guys, we'll see you.
Thanks, Jeff.